What a beautiful animal. Ryan here with Traditional American Hunter, traditionalamericanhunter.com, bringing you traditional tips and the spirit of traditional American hunting. I just happen to use traditional equipment. Behind me I got my bear bow, Montana Longbow, and what I'm doing today is I'm replacing these traditional XT gold tip arrows. This is a modern arrow, a modern broadhead. I'm replacing my quiver with wood arrows and changing out these carbon arrows. And why? Well, it's mainly for nostalgia. You know, any guy can go out there with a carbon arrow and shoot it 5 times and kill a couple animals with it if he's lucky. But, the way a wood arrow flies is just amazing. And I want to show you a special arrow made right here in America. That's another reason I want to use these wood arrows and replace these gold tips. Rose City Archery arrows are made in America, providing American jobs. Check out rosecityarchery.com while I get the arrows. When you get a box from Rose City Archery Arrows, it's going to look like this. And it will say 12-pack arrow box on one side, and then have your barcode and exactly what you ordered on the other side. And then on the inside, they have a personalized hand-written document of what arrows you got, the pounds, the spine, the grain weight, and those details. So I ordered a 6-pack, and these are the fancy arrows with mahogany stain and green cresting, and they are beautiful. Again, these are Rose City Archery arrows. They put their logo on every arrow they make, unless it's a kid's arrow, and it is just an amazing arrow. These are 23 64 inch 50 to 55 pound spined arrows, and it's a 5-inch shield cut fletching, and as you can see, these are blue and orange, and just the way they pack these arrows is amazing. They use a very very tried and true method of packing these arrows to keep your fletchings just off the box, so they lay in that box cradle in this foam. Okay, so we're gonna lay our arrows out. Then we're gonna open another box from, well, I guess I could go ahead and do all of them. I'm gonna do practice tips on 3 and broadheads on 3. And I'm gonna use a candle, not a torch. If you want a more detailed video on putting tips on your arrows, check out Clay Hayes. He has a YouTube channel, Clay, C-L-A-Y, Hayes, H-A-Y-E-S. He does a really good job of explaining putting tips on arrows. And let me give you a detailed look at this arrow. Okay, again, we got another box to open, and this other box is from none other than Three Rivers Archery. And folks, this is a really good company that provides a lot of traditional equipment, bows, arrows, you name it, quivers, hard to find stuff. Traditional equipment is getting harder and harder to find. On one hand, it's more available than ever with, you know, mail delivery and Amazon and places like that, but it can be hard to find. So in this box, I got some No Mercy broadhead, 2-blade, swivel bevel, left wing. These feathers are left wing, and what left wing means is when you look down the feather, if the feather goes to the left, as it twists just slightly to the left, that is a left wing. If you look down the feather and it twisted to the right, that'd be a right wing. So we got the correct broadheads left wing. I've got a taper tool, we're gonna need that, and then some ferrule type glue. And then in another box today, I got some practice points. And these are made in USA. These are Saunders, S-A-U-N-D-E-R-S practice points. And one thing I love about traditional arrow practice points on wooden arrows, glue-ons, is they are very strong when glued on. They don't untwist like a carbon arrow practice point often does if you don't put Teflon on it or a little bit of electrical tape. Real quick, I want to tell you about my bow, just on a side note. If you can't find rubber tips for the bottom of your bow, just use electrical tape. So I wrapped both tips with electrical tape, and this is not going to affect the speed of your limbs or anything like that. Okay. So here we got 3 practice points. My taper tool, and this is for a 23/64 arrow. So again, I matched the taper tool with the 23 64 arrows and the 23 64 practice points. This taper tool is made by Traditional only, and it is made in America too. Everything we're using here is made in America. And then here's my ferrule tight. This has to be heated with flames, and this stuff is awesome. And you could say, why don't you use super glue? Well, you wouldn't want to use super glue. Here's why. Because if you ever wanted to take off a practice point and put on another broadhead, you can't do that once you've super glued a tip on an arrow. So these are Zwicky's, made in USA. Again, everything we're using is made in America. And that feels good. Zwicky No Mercy. They fit 11/32 or 23 64ths, I'm told. And these are single bevel left wings. Let you get a good look at these. Okay, we got our 6 arrows, our 3 practice points, and our 3 broadheads. These broadheads are fairly sharp out of the package, but they do need to be sharpened. And we're going to do that as well. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and prepare a work area here. I need something that I can press my arrows down on. Okay, that should be sufficient there. Okay, it's got some trash right here. Alright, so you will be making a mess, so you do need to let the wife or girlfriend know what you're doing ahead of time so you don't get in trouble if there's any mess. So the first thing you want to do is slide the taper tool on the arrow and begin to twist it. Let's pick that up. So it has a direction you're supposed to twist. It only goes one way. And you just twist it like you're sharpening an old-fashioned wooden pencil. You got to grip this arrow kind of hard too. Although this is Port Orford cedar and it smells amazing, you got to grip that arrow. So you're just trying to go till it doesn't go anymore. So when it just spins in one spot, that's when you stop. So after you've done that, the next thing you're going to do is either put on a practice point or a broadhead. And when you put these points on, you're going to have to spin the arrow. So everything should be symmetric. Everything should be okay. But before you glue it, you want to press it down and just make sure that when you spin it on a solid surface, there's no wobble. So if there's any wobble at all, you try to take that wobble out. That's pretty good right there. And you take that wobble out by just moving the broadhead or the practice point just a little. Just bending it. And a completely flat surface is the best way to check that. That one's done. I'm just going to repeat the process on these next 3 arrows that I'm outfitting with broadheads. Again, that Port Orford cedar smells wonderful. That's another reason why I like using wood arrows. They smell amazing. Alright. So, if you start to get clogged up, just take a knife and push that, what's clogging the sharpener out of there. Yeah, there's just a real thick piece of wood in there. That's all that is. There we go. Back to business. All right. Again, you're just going as far as it goes and stopping. There we go. That one's done. And I got 4 more. So I've just used my taper tool to taper these arrows, and then I've test fitted, dry fitted these practice points and these Wiki No Mercy broadheads, and they are spinning wonderfully. So you're looking for a spin where the arrow doesn't wobble, where it just stands still and spins. So just test all your arrows. If you need to adjust, you can grab the point or the broadhead and wiggle it, maybe firm it up a little bit. And this is just a test to see if you've got them tapered good. This one's a little bit wobbly, so we'll work on him when we put the glue on. When you put the glue on, that adds, you know, a whole nother surface for that point. So you just have to work with it quick and precisely when you do the next step, which is using the glue to secure the point. Again, the beauty of glue-on points, they stick, and they stick good. Okay, so you can use a torch in this next step. You can use a torch or a candle to put the points on with the hot melt glue. There we go. So this next step, simply put, you just get the glue on the tip of the glue melted. So melt the glue just a little bit, and then you're going to want to rub that on the actual wood point. And then before it melts, you want to take the point and push it down on there and secure it. And then spin it and make sure it's straight. And if it's on, it's on. It's not any more complicated than that. So just melt the tip of the glue, just enough. If you get a drip, it's definitely melted. Then just wipe it on the point in a circle. And you can reheat the glue just a little bit if you need to, without burning the wood, to where the glue sizzles. And then put your point on. Hold your point firm. Be careful not to burn your hands. This glue will burn your hands. Get a good spin and leave it. Okay, one more broadhead and 3 practice points to go. Doesn't take very long. Setup is almost instant once the glue cures. Doesn't take very much glue. But you want that glue to be hot, and you want to twist that point on. And you don't have to push it into the table if you don't want to. Just don't slip and cut your hand. Once it's on, it's on. If there's any extra, you can shave that off with a knife. I don't recommend heating the point back up if there's any extra. It just wipes right on. Then you put your point on and hold your point down. Or push your point. Always spin your point immediately after installation to make sure that the point is on secure. Again, this glue will burn you if you're not consciously watching the glue in your fingers. Don't touch the hot glue. All right. And you can remelt the glue again if you have to, if you think your setup was too long. You can twist the point a little bit, push it, spin it, make sure it's not wobbly. And we got one more point to go. You can dunk these points in water if you really want to, but you don't have to. Okay, zooming in on this last one for you. Melt the glue. Wipe it on the arrow tip, and if it's already started to cure, you can reheat the glue just a little bit. Careful not to burn the arrow. And then put your point on. And then if you have to take the point off, you simply just heat the point. Use pliers and take the point off, because that point will be hot. So there you have it. We've got 6 points installed in just minutes. They all spin beautifully. They're all secure, and for the most part I don't have any excess glue showing behind the points. On the ones that do have any excess, I'm going to shave that down with a knife. Just cut it off with the razor blade. or a pocket knife. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is sharpen these broadheads. Out of the package, they come with kind of a squared off point, and then the edges aren't super sharp. They just kind of start the edge on them in the factory. I'm also going to trim up the excess. There's a little bit of glue here, so I'm just going to very delicately just cut that extra glue off. And then I'm going to sharpen these points. So the thing about these points are, again, they're not super sharp out of the package, so I'm just using a whetstone here, so a little bit of water. And just kind of work with that bevel. You don't sharpen the other half of a beveled blade. So in other words, you just sharpen one half. These are left wing bevels, so we're just going to sharpen one half. One thing I will do is just kind of knock off the kind of drag there. So I've put a point on it, and I'm working with that edge, only sharpening one side, the left side, because these are left wing bevel, to go with my left wing arrows. And I'm probably going to spend about 5 minutes per blade just to make sure they're nice and sharp. Get the rough stuff off. Make sure there's no major malfunctions in that factory edge. Lots of people have different methods of sharpening. I'm sure you'll fill up the comments below on how to sharpen a broadhead or a knife, but just do what works for you. So these arrows had a little bit of slag. I just took it off. And then with this synthetic whetstone made by Smith's right here in America, I am going to make this point cut too.
Here's a traditional tip. Take your arrows, stick them on the inside of your belt, then in your back pocket. And that is instant pocket quiver. Man, those broadheads fly great. Thanks, Wiki and Rose City Archery, for making good arrows, good broadheads.